Aha! You didn't see me down there. Yes, I was there the whole time, and yes, this is the M2 MacBook Air desk setup. I recently moved into a new studio, and I finally got my desk setup to a point where I'm pretty happy with it. I would still say it's like the beta version of my desk setup, still planning a lot of other things to add in the future. But I figured now would be a good time to show you my desk setup and show you a desk setup with the new M2 MacBook Air. Now, before we go into all that though, there's a really important thing you gotta do when you're building your desk setup, and that's powering it. And thankfully, we're powering this entire desk setup with Ugreen's 100-watt GaN power strip, which caters perfectly with this M2 MacBook Air setup. And the first thing about this power strip that I like is it just looks good sitting right on top of the desk thanks to its small design with Ugreen's GaN technology. So really, there's no need to hide it under your desk. You can just put it right on top of the desk and it looks great. It also comes with 3 full-size AC outlets, so you can plug in your laptop, your computer, your display, or really whatever you want to plug into it. And it also comes with 1 USB-A port and 3 USB-C ports, which support fast charging, so you can take your new M2 MacBook Air and you can charge it up to 50% in just 30 minutes of charging, and at the same time charge your iPhone 13, and you can get that up to 60% in just 30 minutes. And it's compatible with a wide array of devices and powering this complete desk setup. So make sure you check out the link in the description to get 25% off Ugreen's 100-watt GaN power strip. And thank you so much to Ugreen, not only for sponsoring this video, but also for powering my entire desk setup. So you can find that in the description below, and also everything I talk about in this desk setup, I will also leave links to in the description below, so you can find it very easily and maybe buy some of this stuff for yourself. All right, so let's talk about the desk itself, because that's pretty important to a desk setup. So for this one, I really wanted to go with a simple build. In the past, I've used pretty expensive desks, especially standing desks that are motorized, need to be plugged in. And while that would certainly work with this desk setup, I just really wanted to go back to basics for this new studio. So basically, I just did a trip to IKEA, picked out some very simple parts and put them together. So for the top of this desk, we are using a bamboo top from IKEA that's gonna run you about $100. For the legs, it's 2 bamboo legs. And on the other end of the desk, we're not using legs, we're actually just using an IKEA Alex jar to hold that up. Also, while in the past, I have used standing desks primarily for my setup. If you watch one of my old desk setup videos, I was using a standing desk. I wanted to avoid that in this studio because it is a smaller space, so I wanted to maximize on storage, and I really wanted to incorporate a drawer into this desk setup, so I'm pretty happy with that as well. My drawer is actually pretty messy. I usually just store like a bunch of like miscellaneous things in there. I'm very scatterbrained in that way, but it also does store some important snacks. I mean, if we open up this top drawer over here, you can see that we got protein bars. Protein bars are very important. I've been working out at the gym a lot. You know, I'm getting the gains, I'm training to fight Sam from iUpdate. You know, we're gonna have that tech YouTube boxing match eventually, and you know, with Sam, I'm just loaded up on protein right now. So, you know, if you want to fight Sam, bring it on, Sam. So I normally don't drink soda, but I make a rare exception for coffee Coke. It's kind of like an in-between between like a soda and an energy drink. Just has like more caffeine than a traditional coffee. This gets me through some late night editing sessions when I don't feel like just having a traditional coffee, and it's very easy to store in the studio. So, you know, I'm gonna take a sip right now. I'm actually pretty thirsty doing this desk setup video. Ooh, that's good. All right, I know you don't care about snacks. What a useless tirade that was. You actually want to know what's on the desk, and of course, that starts with the M2 MacBook Air. Now, I really like the M2 MacBook Air. I made a lot of videos on it, so this isn't like a deep dive review into the M2 MacBook Air, but I'll just list some of the things I really like about it. Love the new design, has that squared off, super thin design, kind of looks like a flattened down version of the MacBook Pro. Has a really great build quality. I like the midnight color. I think it looks pretty sharp in this desk setup. Keyboard is excellent, trackpad is excellent. Performance is very good on the M2 chip. It feels pretty similar to the M1, but that's not a bad thing. Like, performance on this is really good. I really like the M2 MacBook Air. I think it's a great laptop with a great display. It's probably the first MacBook that you should look at if you're gonna be purchasing a MacBook, right? You should look at the M2 MacBook Air first. It basically took the final step for Apple Silicon, where the performance was great, the battery life was great, and what it really needed to shine was a new design, and Apple nailed that with this M2 MacBook Air. Now you'll notice that this M2 MacBook Air is pretty much raised up, and that's on 12 South's curve stand, and I really like this laptop stand for a few reasons. So number one, some laptop stands you can only insert the MacBook when it's closed. On this stand you can put it in closed, or you can open up the display. And I think that's very important for an M2 MacBook Air setup, because one of the limitations with the M1 and the M2 chip is that it can only support one external display. So obviously this is connected to the studio display. We'll talk about that in a second, but you can see that because this is on a stand and it's raised up a little bit, it's actually at an appropriate height where I can use this as a secondary display. Because the M2 MacBook Air supports one external monitor, I can have a second display with the inbuilt display, and I feel like that's pretty important for this setup overall. So I can actually get two displays, even though the 13.6-inch display on the M2 MacBook Air is a fair bit smaller than the 27-inch studio display. Speaking of the studio display, that is the main display in the center of this setup. And what I'll say about the studio display is really I've been testing a lot of third-party displays right now, and nothing comes close to the first-party Apple display. Number one, the display quality on it is really good. You get that 27-inch size display with 5K resolution, so everything scales natively for macOS. I find that very important. So everything is how it should look, and the text is crystal sharp. The color calibration out of the box is also excellent. 600 nits of brightness is plenty bright for a studio setup like this. And everything about this display I just really like. Love the design of it, love coming in, seeing the studio display sitting there. I just think it looks excellent, helps inspire me to create content. And I also like a lot of the inbuilt features it has. Has an inbuilt webcam, even though it's not the best. Has built-in speakers, which are pretty respectable. And honestly, if you look at my desk setup, you'll see that there are no external speakers in this desk setup. Again, I wanted to keep it very simple, and the studio display just has good enough speakers to where I feel like I don't need to put external speakers. It definitely provides room-filling sound for this small studio. Another thing that is really clutch with this setup is that it's all kind of done through a single cable connection. So this is all done through just a single Thunderbolt connection from the studio display to the MacBook Air. And one of the things I really like about that is I just have the studio display plugged into the, the sponsor Ugreen power strip over there. And the M2 MacBook Air doesn't even need to be plugged in. It's just connected to the studio display, and that provides the video signal and also charging the M2 MacBook Air. So really, you just need to plug in the studio display, then connect the M2 MacBook Air, and it's all set up. You don't even need to go and get like the MagSafe charger or anything like that. Now, both the MacBook Air and the studio display are on a monitor riser. I forget the name of it. The Othia large dual monitor stand riser, solid wood desktop shelf with EcoQuark legs for laptop, computer, TV, PC, printers, perfect desktop stands organizer with underneath storage for office accessories. Long name, maybe come up with a better name in the naming department there. You can hire me, I could think of something better. But yeah, it gets the job done. I think it was around like $60, and you just put that up there, and it elevates the studio display, which honestly, with the default stand is pretty short. So I think you want either a desktop riser or spending extra money on the height adjustable stand. And yeah, I really like it. It provides even more desktop space because you could put stuff under it as well. Another important part of a desk setup is the keyboard and the mouse, or in my case, maybe a lack of a mouse. So what I'm using is Apple's extended keyboard. It is the black and silver version, and I really like the typing experience on it. I am not one of those people that likes the clickety-clackety mechanical keyboards. I find that they're really loud, really annoying. I find that they don't really enhance my typing experience in either way. I think that the Magic Keyboard has enough travel for me, and I just really like the slim profile of it. One of the reasons I do use the Magic Keyboard over other keyboards too is because it has Touch ID built in. That's the only biometric situation for macOS right now. There is no Face ID on Mac, so if you want to skip the password login, you gotta use that Magic Keyboard for Touch ID. If I could do it over again though, I think I wouldn't get the extended keyboard for this setup. I think I would just go with the regular keyboard because I really don't use this whole half of the keyboard. This is very useless to me. This is like dated technology. Like, who's crunching numbers anymore? Then I also primarily use the Magic Trackpad. I used to use a mouse. When I was growing up, I always used a mouse. And then one day I was just using the trackpad a lot on the laptops. And I was like, you know what? I really like this experience of kind of using the pinch to zoom and the scrolling. I found that it was much more intuitive than using a mouse. And I really like that in my editing program, Final Cut Pro, as well. I like being able to pinch and zoom in on the timeline. I like kind of swiping back and forth between the timeline. I find that I'm very fast and efficient using a touchpad. And because sometimes I switch between desktop or then go on my MacBook, I find that it kind of just keeps my flow, right? Like no matter what I'm working on, whether it's laptop or kind of like a desktop setup, I get to keep my flow going. So I really like the Magic Trackpad. I highly recommend trying it out if you primarily use a laptop with a trackpad, and Apple just makes the best trackpads. Like I don't even know if anyone else makes a desktop trackpad, but I'm sure it sucks in comparison to that. Now, I do keep a mouse handy sometimes, so this is the Logitech MX Master 3. I don't use it all too much, but there are times where I do want really, really precise input, and you just can't replace that with a trackpad. Like the mouse is key for really fast cursor, really accurate input, and especially if I'm loading up like a game, like if I'm goofing off and playing some StarCraft, I gotta use some sort of mouse. Like I'm not gaming with a trackpad. I've done it on a few of my videos, but if I'm actually playing a game for real, I need a mouse if I'm gonna stand a chance. So this also sits on my desk. It's a Bluetooth mouse. A lot of people highly, highly, highly recommend this mouse. They love it. I'm more of the trackpad kind of person, but yeah, this is pretty good. All right, we also have a lot of accessories in this desk setup as well, so we'll quickly go over those. So one of the things you probably notice is this pair of headphones, which is the AirPods Max. Funnily enough, this is on that metal beam, which you cannot buy. I mean, if you can buy it, good luck. And then it has this little clamp here, which is like for like photo and video, like hanging stuff or securing equipment. It's pretty cheap, but I've been using it as a headphone holder. It works as well. You can actually just like clamp it to the desk if you want to. Put your headphones like that. So you don't need a metal beam like me, but it helps. I like having it there. So that's kind of how I have that set up. And AirPods Max, I'll just say really quick, like the sound quality of these a lot. I think they look really good. Again, I mentioned I don't have any external speakers, so if I really want to focus on sound quality, I turn to the AirPods Max and put those on. And I just think, you know, they have the convenience of AirPods in over-the-ear headphones. They have the noise cancellation technology, which is good if the studio is being noisy for whatever reason. And they have transparency mode, so you can hear other things if you need to. If someone wants to talk to you, if you want to have a conversation, you want to take your headphones off, you don't have to be isolated in your world over there. So AirPods Max, they're expensive, but I really like them. And you can get that Apple cable too, which will let you connect them wired, which I do sometimes to reduce latency when editing. Another pair of headphones that I've had for a while are these Master and Dynamic headphones. I forget the exact model number, but I'll leave a link in the description. These are pretty old, but at the time I really liked the design of them. They actually had a lot of the things that AirPods Max would eventually get, like the removable, what do you call these, ear cups for your ears. And yeah, I think they sound really good. This is just a wired pair though, they're not Bluetooth. You can see over here, there's 2 areas to insert a 3.5 millimeter jack. I just really like the look of these. I think they're pretty heavily discounted at this point. So maybe check these out as well if you want a good looking, solid, reliable, premium construction pair of headphones. While we're on the topic of audio, I also just have a small blue HomePod mini set up there in case I ever want to, you know, just listen to music, use voice commands, not use the studio display. The HomePod mini, I would say, sounds a little bit better than the studio display. So if I want to just blast music through the entire studio, I'll just use that. But I'm telling you, the minute Apple releases a full-size HomePod, that is probably going to get replaced because I need a new full-size HomePod. I would love to put it in the studio setup if Apple releases one. So that would provide even better sound quality. But one plus going for the HomePod mini, which I do like, is that it's very small. It barely takes up any space. I can put it directly under the studio display. If I had a bigger speaker, I'd kind of have to rearrange things. So we'll figure that out if that ever happens. All right, just a few more things. So on the side over here, you know, I need something to charge my phone, my Apple Watch, and my AirPods. So I use this Belkin 3-in-1 charger. It also has MagSafe connected, so you can just connect your phone there and it stays upright. So you can have it in a vertical or a horizontal position. I think that's really handy to have. We're always on our phone, so you need something to just quickly charge it. And then I also have some storage solutions. So this is an external SSD drive. It's a Thunderbolt drive. It is super fast. This is from OWC. This one's pretty hard to find, so I'll leave a link in the description to some other ones I recommend, but this is the main one I use, and I just need super fast external storage sometimes if I need to offload like a video project and take it with me, and this thing is like as fast as an internal drive. Highly recommend getting a Thunderbolt SSD if you have a Mac that has Thunderbolt 3. Also have this little anchor adapter. This actually isn't that good for the MacBook Air because it blocks the MagSafe port if you plug it into the two USB-C ports, but I've had this for a while. I'm cheap. I don't want to replace it, and basically I think no matter what, like maybe I wouldn't recommend this one for the M2 MacBook Air, but I think you need some sort of adapter if you have any of these laptops that aren't the Pro ones, because you are missing quite a few ports, and sometimes you just need one. So if you ever need USB-A, an SD card slot, which I do all the time, micro SD, and even HDMI, throw it in your bag or keep it on your desk or whatever, and you'll have all those ports whenever you need them. And listen, this desk setup is primarily to get my work done in the studio, but I gotta be honest, all work and no play, it makes Greg a dull boy. So I also always have my Nintendo Switch usually around with me. This is the OLED model. OLED display itself is just super vibrant, really deep black levels. I feel like having this display is more of a graphical upgrade than getting a new GPU. I felt that way when I got my first OLED TV, and it was such a big upgrade that when I went to go play my PS4 at the time, I just felt like it got a huge graphics boost just from getting a new display. And this is like the premium Switch. I like all the Switches that I've tried so far. And right now I'm playing through Final Fantasy X, so, when I'm working a lot, sometimes I'll take like a 30-minute break, play some Final Fantasy X, and then get back to work. So I was gonna play some right now, but I gotta finish this video. Also, finally, you've probably been wondering what the heck this thing is over here, which has been sitting here prominently the whole time. That is the Roadcaster Pro 2. I really haven't had too much chance to mess around with this in the setup yet, but I had this sitting in a box for like 2 months and I just didn't open it. So I'm like, let me open this and put it on the desk. I have the Roadcaster 1 set up somewhere else and I really like that product. But basically it's like a giant audio interface for podcasting and live streaming. You can plug in like 4 microphones into it. You get sound effects, faders. It is super complex, but I'm telling you, if you do any sort of podcasting, maybe even some live streaming, I feel like this is you'll love this. You'll love using this. So in the off chance that you're a podcaster, you need to look into getting this. And the new one is even smaller, has a better build quality. I can't wait to mess around with this thing, but I just thought it looked cool on the desk, so I just put it on there. Also, you gotta have a figure on your desk. I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, if you couldn't tell. We already covered the protein. Power level 530,000. Soon I'll be at 1 million power level, and you don't want to mess with me when I get to my second form. It's not going to be pretty. But I do have a figure on my desk. So this is, we got Goku and Vegeta. When they do the fusion dance, when they do the fusion dance, they become Gogeta. When they put on the Potara earrings, they become Vegito. All right, that's a little quick explainer for you. So just got the simple anime figure on the desk setup. I'm basic with my anime. So I got Goku, Vegeta. They make Gogeta. That's all you need to know. Also got a lamp in the desk setup. I watched Patrick Tomaso's desk setup, and he said you need a lamp. And I didn't even, I just found this lamp laying around somewhere. It's not even like a nice lamp. I'm not even gonna link it in the description. I don't know where it came from, but I was putting together this video, I was setting it up, and I went, oh my gosh, I don't have a lamp. If Patrick watches this, he's not gonna be happy. He's gonna say, where's your lamp? So there's a lamp in the setup, super cinematic. But you know what, Patrick, you may got the lamp, so you ain't got the steel beam. You ain't got the steel beam. One more thing I'll mention before we end this video. This is a long video, I'm sorry. Do you like long desk setup videos? I guess I'll know by the time this comes out. I bet people are gonna be like, this was way too long. You explained things too much. You're so boring. But these posters up here, usually I stink at hanging things on walls. I usually leave things pretty blank. I am so indecisive with setups, with design. It's like a really bad trait. I put things off so long, but I'm like, I gotta like hang some stuff, like show off things I like. And my favorite YouTube channel is Mega64. Check them out. They do like video game skits, just like general parodies nowadays too. They're really funny. These are tour posters. I actually went to both of their tours, so I have 2 tour posters just hanging behind this desk setup. I probably need to hang some more stuff. But yeah, that's basically my desk setup for the M2 MacBook Air at the new Greg's Gadgets, the future gadget laboratory. It's all here. So Let me know what you thought of this video. Hopefully you liked it. I'm sorry if it was long. If you made it to the end of this video, let me know. Who do you think would win in a boxing match? Me or, out of all the tech YouTubers, you can rank us. I was gonna just say me and Sam, but you want to put me against Unbox Therapy. You want to put me against Marquez. You want to put me against Dave 2D. Who do you have? Like, put your boxing match rankings. Who do you think would win? I better be number one. Also, if you like this video, just give me a like. If you want to see more, you made it to the end. This is so long, you might as well subscribe. You obviously like the content. And again, if you want to check out any of the products that I listed in my desk setup, check the affiliate links in the description below. You can help support the channel, and maybe you can buy some of this cool stuff. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take care, everyone.